Talking about remedies and ayurveda, spiritual healing and yoga. These are all tools in the Vedic astrologer's toolkit. Vedic astrology is about spiritual healing and wellness. I'm teaching an ayurveda and remedies immersion in San Diego, March 23rd through 25th for my certification course students. Hey there, making this video on the shores of the Arabian Sea. You've seen some of my videos lately. I'm here at Amma's ashram and sitting here on the shores of the Arabian Sea, and I'm making this video about remedies and how to connect the Vedic astrology chart with Ayurveda and how to arrive at a remedy scheme and approach and strategy that can help clients and you, and also yourself, obviously. Now, I'm going to be teaching this workshop on remedies, Ayurveda, and Vedic astrology to my certification course students in San Diego, March 23rd through 25th. Now, it's available to them. They will get the link to register for the course, but I thought I would make this for the general public as well, so people can understand the approach and how Vedic astrology works with Ayurveda and yoga and the remedies in those two disciplines especially. You know, astrology shows the timing, and it shows the karma, and it shows the disposition that's unfolding at any given time based on our birth chart and based on the timing cycles of the dashas and the transits. A Vedic astrologer, when he knows what to focus on, can be an enormous help and offer the kind of remedies and spiritual practices that will help a person understand themselves better. But something else can happen if you're not careful. Unknowingly, as an astrologer, you can burden people with things that they don't understand, that they're not going to do anyway. You know, what I mean to say is that when I look at someone's chart and I see where they're at with their karmic cycle, we got a big wave here. Whoosh. That's the way our karma is. Waves of karma come. And when I see where someone is and which karmas are arising in their mind and consciousness, there are usually 2 or 3 main things that I can focus on that I know is going to help them. They revolve around certain kinds of mantra work, certain kinds of, let's say, yoga asanas, and then also other kinds of things such as color and healing therapy, which also sometimes takes the form of gemstones. But in addition to that, some of the most important remedies that we offer, or that you can offer a person, are things that are much more practical. Like, for example, waking up early, eating less food, surrounding yourself with flowers, speaking less. These are remedies that also directly affect planets. For example, a weak Venus is enhanced by having flowers in the room, just naturally bringing that more into your life. One of the things that astrologers need to be careful of is just overwhelming people with a sort of cavalcade of stuff to do after a reading, because you burden them with that, and if they don't do it, they feel like they are not just letting you down, but screwing up their own sort of karma. You know, I'm here at the ashram, and there's quite a bit of astrology talked about here. And here in India, the approach to remedies are very different than it is in the West. the tradition of India and of Indian astrology, especially when you read the ancient texts and you see some of the remedies, sort of comes from a time before people practiced yoga a lot, or knew spiritual beings, or could do spiritual practices. And many times the astrologers were kind of the priests. They were the ones who would, literally do, different spiritual practices for the people themselves on behalf of the people. Like, for example, pujas and fire ceremonies and whatnot is basically priests saying mantras on your behalf, for example, or other kinds of what can be kind of strange remedies, like, giving black seeds or, sesame seeds to a crow on Saturday, or these kind of things that seem very strange to Westerners. They started from a time when people had less understanding of their karma, less awareness about what they could do on their own behalf. And these kind of remedies were just sort of given to people, and they just kind of did it without question. And sometimes those remedies are still prescribed that way, but it confuses people. And here in India, at Alma's ashram, I hear all the time, because a lot of people know I'm an astrologer, and people will come up to me and say, I was told to do this remedy. I don't really know why I'm doing it. And if I don't do it, is something bad going to happen to me? Or I was told to do this puja, but I don't really have enough money. If I don't do it, is something bad going to happen? And these remedies kind of lord over the person and makes them feel like if they don't do it, they're somehow making a mistake and things like that. So again, these are all things that people need to consider before they start doing readings where they recommend remedies. I'll tell you, if you can get someone to really understand the nature of what's happening in their life and give them a couple really solid remedies, like the correct mantra that's associated, let's say, with a certain planet, the correct kind of, let's say, spiritual practice like a Hatha Yoga or Raja Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. If you can help them really understand their dosha and their disposition a lot more clearly, so that they can go and get an energetic treatment from an Ayurvedic practitioner, then you're helping people enormously, particularly when you understand why at any particular time, any given time, they're experiencing the karma they're experiencing at that moment. And this is seen by a combination of both the natal chart and the tendencies in the natal chart, as well as the dashas, the planetary dasha cycles, and also the transits. Like, for example, when Saturn moves into someone's first house, or over their moon, or even perhaps over any of the planets that rule important health factors, you will see that it may be a time to recommend a remedy. So in the course that I'm teaching in San Diego to my certification course students, the weekend course, we'll be going over these remedies. We'll be going over how to identify the sensitive points in the chart, because this is really what makes all the difference. You can't just arbitrarily say these things, because you have to be able to identify the important and sensitive points in the natal chart, and identify the important moments in time that you're looking at that individual. Because it's not just that people have a tendency, or that people have tendencies. Certain tendencies become more prominent at certain times. We don't have all of our energies activated equally all the time. And just like with these waves, we're energetically responding to different forces all the time. Sometimes we have big waves of karma. Something big comes. A big wave of karma comes sometime. Here's a decent wave. Boom. Sometimes that big wave of karma is a little bit scary to us. But you, as someone who has just started surfing, one of the things to also understand, the big waves might bring more danger, but they also give more speed. They also take you further. It's a bigger wave, but it also takes you further, faster. So when we ride those big waves of karma, we also accelerate our spiritual progress a lot more. So the problem isn't to, the issue isn't to stop the waves, because how are you going to do it? See, now we have a little bit of a calm period. See, we didn't stop the waves just stopped. See, there's no big waves right now, but in a minute there'll be some big waves. And we don't know when the waves are coming. Of course, as an astrologer, I could predict the next wave. That's what astrologers do. We can predict when the next big wave is going to come and what it's going to look like. So that's what astrologers are good at. Being able to tell, okay, you're actually riding this wave now. This is the kind of wave, and this is the kind of surfboard that you need. You see, now we're getting some bigger waves. The bigger waves are coming. And so this is what remedies can do. They can show us the nature of the waves, the size of the waves, so that we can go further in that karma at that time without being so confused about what we're doing. So different remedies are appropriate at different times, obviously for different people, for different planets. And the point isn't to overwhelm people with 1,000 things, it's to find the right things that are going to be useful at any given time. You see, we got a big wave coming here. We didn't do anything, we didn't create the big wave, we can't stop the big wave. There's another big wave. They just come. Sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller. You see, that big wave might go, oh my God, when's the big wave going to stop? But see, if you were riding that wave, you'd be riding that wave further. So you get the point. And that's what our karma is about. That's what our samskaras are about. That's what our mind is. It's just these waves, these thought waves, these vrittis that come, and as astrologers we can read what they are and make recommendations. And then in conjunction and coordination with the other Vedic sciences, especially yoga and ayurveda, we can align these waves with the proper techniques and the proper timing. So it's going to be a very blessed weekend with all the students from my certification course in San Diego, March 23rd through 25th. Not only do we go over that subject matter, but we also get to practice and really sort of workshop a lot of the material that we've learned. You get to interact with level 1, 2, and 3 students, graduates, tutors. It's a great experience for all of you in the level 1, level 2, or level 3, wherever you are. You really can't substitute for the in-person experience because, of course, we're all learning at different parts of the world. I think there are people from at least 15 countries in the course, in the level 1 course this year. I think it was at least 10. And so we get to come together a couple times a year and meet in person. And this is going to be great because it revolves around spiritual healing, finding the spiritual levers in the chart, how to heal those things, how to align it with Ayurveda and yoga, and how to recommend the proper remedies for people and for ourselves. So on that note, I'll leave you with that and these calm seas. You see the waves are nice and still now.